Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're doing our first official SprueView. This is my review of the Lieutenant Titus model, obviously the Space Marine hero from Space Marine 2, Space Marine 1, secret level as well now, all round, probably the coolest Space Marine dude out there, probably one of the most famous, well known in the wider pop culture verse, and the only Ultramarine that I actually like, to the point where I would even consider painting this model blue. But I digress. Let's focus on the model itself. So, commemorative series, Lieutenant Titus. This is the same model that was available last year in the Space Marine board game that was released in Barnes & Noble, I think it was, in America. It's the same Titus model that was released in the limited edition one-run Recruit 40k edition for 10th, if you were lucky enough to get hold of that same model. And now they've re-released it individually, probably for a limited time only, and this model is £26 in your local Warhammer store, and it is only available through the Warhammer stores directly. It is not available online to my knowledge. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on this model. I have partially built it, so the pictures that you'll see isn't a completely finished pose because I'm still tweaking with it, but I have obviously changed this to suit how I want my Titus to look. He's not painted yet, but I will show off pictures when he's painted down the line. He isn't top of the priority list at the minute. I want to use him for a kill team, but I'm not quite there yet. But anyway, how about we just talk about this? Really cool box, first of all. You've got Titus with a slew of different Tyranids. Really cool, really invoking that feeling of Titus in Space Marine 2. Despite the fact that he's holding the weapons in the wrong hands. But, you know, I'll fix that, don't worry. And then the back of the box, you can see there a couple of different shots. He does come with a helmet. It is his Lieutenant helmet, not the Laurel's helmet that he gets at the end of the Space Marine 2 campaign, and you see him in secret level. He's got his brand new helmet that he was awarded from Marnis Calgar. So I obviously too had to rectify that. But back of the box, straightforward, not quite as cool as the front. This is the front of the sprue, you can see all the bits there. You got your helmeted head, your slightly wonky unhelmeted head. It's still fine. I mean, he's all there. He is push fit, so with push fit I normally just clip out a little bit of the edge of these pegs just to make a nice fit, and it all went together pretty nicely, in all honesty. There was a little bit of filing, there was a few more lines that we had to tidy up, but this was very nice. And over onto the back of the sprue, again, straightforward. You can see here, it's all push fit, all the pegs and things. It's nice and easy. I was quite impressed with how easy it went together, in all honesty. I'm not a big fan of their push fit, and I've always found without having to do a little bit of work, you do need to fill in quite a lot of holes and lines and things, because the push fit just never seems to go well, but this was fine. This is the other bits that came in the box. You've got some Ultramarine transfers there, and a 40mm base, again push fit, and the instructions. Now this is the bits that I used to customize my Titus. You can see here a Laureled helmet. This is the helmet from the Kill Team starter set Space Marine Captain. So I've just stolen that one there. It's a Deathwatch fitting, right? Deathwatch arm with a power mace that I was never going to use. So I've just basically I cut the weapon off and I cut him off at the wrist because the hands Primaris size are about the same size. So I just basically stole that hand for the chainsword, for the swap, and then I needed just a straight pistol arm for the bolt pistol in his other arm, and I took this from the Hellblasters. They have a couple of different arm options, but it's the left hand firing the pistol, which is very rare in Primaris kits. So nice easy stuff to do there, and it was just a few chops and cuts, fairly straightforward, a little bit of cleanup on more lines and things, but fairly straightforward. And this is how he turned out. The only thing that I did add, because it wound me up a little bit, was there's no skull on that new helmet, so I just cut off a skull from a previous Space Marine model that I had kicking about. And yes, I did spend about 5 minutes trying to get the skull positioned perfectly and glued on in this tiny little skull. You can see I've changed the posing of the arms as well as switching the hands around, and I've added a combat knife, because in the secret level one shot he has a combat knife. You see him there with his combat knife and his chainsword as well, and I just thought that was really cool. Another option I was toying with was switching out the bolt pistol for a combat knife and having the bolt pistol in its holster, but I figured no, we'd stick with more of the Space Marine 2 style, and we'll just represent secret level there with the knife. And then just a slightly different angle, you can see there really what I've done with the arms. The pauldron itself is an Ultramarines pauldron from the Deathwatch Veterans kit that I nabbed. I didn't think I'd use it anywhere else, so that was, again, quite easy, but it means I don't need to mess around with transfers and stuff. And as the only Ultramarines model I'm ever going to field, it fits. It's nice. So yeah, that's my Kitbash Titus model using as a basis the GW Titus. So I'm really happy with this. I haven't glued on the head yet and the backpack. I will spray those up and paint them separately before I attach them. But I'm really happy with it. The tweaking is pretty good. It was quite easy to do. You just cut that arm off, repositioned it. Obviously messing about with the hands and things. But all in all, it was a very straightforward Kitbash and I very much enjoyed doing it. And then I thought we'd finish this video up, we'd go over his rules. So, the boring bits first. Lieutenant Titus is obviously a lieutenant, he's an epic hero, Tacticus, and he also has grenades in the character keyword, and the infantry keyword that comes into play as well. He's equipped with a heavy bolt pistol and an Astartes chainsword, and you cannot give him any other weapons. And as leader, he can be attached to any of the following units. Assault Intercessor Squad, Blade Guard Veteran Squad, which is quite nice, Hellblaster Squad, Infernus Squad, Intercessor Squad, and Stern Guard Veterans. My gut feeling of somebody of Titus's level, the former captain of the 2nd Company, he should be running around with Stern Guard Vets. But what does he actually do? Heavy Bolt Pistol is a pistol, 18-inch range, 1 attack. He hits on 2s. Strength 4 -1, 1 damage, all standard. Melee weapon is Astartes Chainsword and the infantry 2-up, which is very fitting for Titus. 8 attacks, very juicy. Hits on 2s, strength 4 -1 AP, 1 damage, so nothing overly flash there apart from a lot of attacks and hitting on 2s, as is his stature. His stats themselves are all the same, 3-up save, 6-up lead, 5 wounds, I think that's all fairly standard lieutenant. He's only toughness 4, but he does come with a 5-up feel no pain, which is really nice and very fitting of his rage ability that he has in the game. And his 2 abilities, obviously faction ability, Oath of Moment. He also has Press the Attack. Weapons equipped by models in this model's unit have the Sustained Hits 1 ability. Very nice, across the board, Sustained Hits 1. And Honor of the Chapter. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, if it is not fought this phase, roll 1d6. On a 2-up, do not remove it from play. This model can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks, and is then removed from play. So it's solely for him, but it just goes to show you how hard he is to bring down. And on a 2-up, it's Fight on Death 2-up is very nice, so you're guaranteeing, almost guaranteeing, those 8 attacks are going through, and if he's against infantry, he's hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. I don't think you can go wrong with any of that. Very, very strong for 70 points. And I think you would be hard pushed to find another lieutenant who is better than him to run in an Ultramarines force. Sadly, keywords, Adeptus Astartes and Ultramarines, if you want to use him to his full potential with his own personal rules, you have to put him in Ultramarines. But you know, I'll just use him in Kill Team. But let me know what you think of his rules in the comments, and if you're tempted to pick up this model. Also interested in what you guys thought of the Kitbash that I put together. I wanted to do this, I didn't necessarily know how I was going to do it or which parts I was going to use until I actually got the model. But I am quite pleased, and I'm actually looking forward to painting him. And I will probably be painting him blue. Because it's Titus, you know? Sometimes, some characters, you've got to stick with the lore accurate stuff. Yeah, I like him. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.